Ever wish your New Game Plus came with PTSD instead of bonus stats? That's New Saga, where beating the Demon Lord just unlocks depression mode. Our hero Kyle takes center stage in what looks like the final episode of every JRPG you've ever played. The sky's on fire, the castle's crumbling, and Kyle's basically fighting the Demon Lord in hard mode NG+. He wins, of course, but not before losing absolutely everyone he's ever loved. His mentor? Dead. His childhood friend? Dead. His elf girlfriend? Dead. His faith in humanity? That died first. When the dust settles, Kyle's standing knee-deep in corpses, holding the holy sword of victory. Looking like a man who just realized winning doesn't mean jack when you've got no one left to celebrate with. And just when you think the show's about to fade to credits and hit us with a thank you for playing, Kyle finds a mysterious crystal in the Demon Lord's lair, the Divine Dragon's Heart, the ultimate do not touch button. Naturally, Kyle touches it. The thing goes whoosh, and he wakes up 4 years in the past, back when people were still alive and the world hadn't been converted into a medieval junkyard. It's like the universe just said, surprise. But this time, if you mess up, it's on you. Imagine replaying life with all your memories, all your skills, and all your trauma. That's Kyle's deal now. He's overpowered, overprepared, and over it. Every smile he sees feels like a ghost. Every laugh a reminder of what he lost. He's got cheat codes turned on, but every boss fight just reminds him of how many continues it took last time. Most isekai MC get excited about second chance. Kyle just gets flashbacks. He's not screaming, "I'll be the hero who saves everyone." He's muttering, "Let's not have everyone die again, yeah?" under his breath. The man's carrying a world's worth of baggage and still expected to be functional. The anime doesn't treat his power-up like wish fulfillment. It treats it like a psychological experiment. You want god-tier reflexes? Cool. Enjoy the recurring nightmares. Oh, and before we dive into the Trauma Olympics, guess who's not dead this time? Kyle's mom, Soraya, one of the last surviving archmages. She's alive, brilliant, and immediately clocks that her son's brain is basically a cursed time loop hard drive. Kyle goes to her like, "So, time magic, is that a thing?" And she's like, "Yes, but even lunatics don't touch it." She's the first one who actually explains that the Divine Dragon Heart isn't some random loot drop. It's a world-ending time battery. It's the one wholesome parent-child moment you get before the plot throws another emotional brick at your face. Kyle's first mission is personal. Save the people who died the first time. Enter Lisa, his childhood friend and sweetheart, the kind of wholesome, energetic girl who screams, "First episode death flag." In the old timeline, she died early on. In this one, he's determined to stop that. The emotional dynamic, painfully unbalanced. She sees him as her old childhood friend. He sees her as someone he's already mourned. He looks at her like she's made of glass. Every smile from her feels borrowed from a past life. It's wholesome and soul-crushing at the same time, like watching someone hug a ghost that doesn't know it's dead. Then there's Saran, Kyle's best friend, comic relief and the most reliable bro you could ask for. The kind of guy who'd punch a dragon and then complain about it scuffing his gloves. He's here to remind Kyle what joy used to feel like. Together, they're the RPG dream duo, the stoic hero and the chaos gremlin. But even those cheerful banters have weight now. Kyle laughs, but you can see it. He's laughing through memory filters of, "This is the guy who died in my arms last time." Kyle's sword isn't just a legendary weapon anymore, it's Sildonia, a sassy spirit who can read his mind. Because what's better than PTSD? PTSD with commentary? Sildonia is like your intrusive thoughts gained sentience and decided to help out. She's the only one who actually knows Kyle's from the future, and she plays along by calling her knowledge prophecies. She becomes his silent therapist, moral compass, and occasionally his sarcastic life coach. When Kyle hesitates to change something, Sildonia is there going, "Hey, dumbass, last time this killed 10,000 people? Maybe fix that?" It's the kind of chemistry that makes you wish more anime swords had opinions. Then comes Urza, the powerful elven mage who, in the old timeline, joined the party too late to make a difference. And also Kyle's former lover. This time, he finds her early, saves her from a demon ambush, and recruits her before she becomes a tragic footnote. Urza is smart, stoic, and terrifyingly strong. She looks at Kyle with suspicion, like, "Why is this random swordsman acting like we've been dating for 4 years?" But Kyle can't exactly tell her. "I'll say I'm the man you used to love before we all died horribly." Their dynamic is brilliant because it's both romantic and awkward. He knows every detail about her, and she's just meeting him for the first time. It's like speedrunning a relationship while pretending you didn't memorize all her dialogue trees. Kyle's next mission is to save Princess Milena, who in the old timeline was assassinated early on. This time, he's ready. He intercepts the assassins, rewrites fate, and gains the princess's trust. Suddenly, he's on the royal radar, and the political game begins. But plot twist, turns out the Hydra wasn't even the worst monster in the room. The real puppet master behind the princess's near death? Her own father, King Ramonas. Yep, Dad of the Year tried to off his daughter because he was jealous of her popularity. Kyle finds out and decides diplomacy is overrated. One shove later and His Majesty takes a surprise trip off the balcony. Official report says accident. Unofficially, Kyle just did medieval pest control. Kyle's next big adventure takes him to Karan City, where demons are scheming behind the scene. He discovers an elaborate plot involving a sick governor, demonic corruption, and human puppets. The best part? Kyle's doing this all while pretending he's just some lucky genius instead of a dude with the world's darkest foreknowledge. He dismantles conspiracies with surgical precision, and everyone's like, wow, how did you know? Intuition, he says, as he remembers watching the same city burn down 4 years later. The Karan arc is where New Saga really starts feeling like Attack on Titan had a baby with Final Fantasy Tactics. Every victory feels like it's bought with existential dread. Kyle wins, but every success just reminds him of what went wrong the first time. Flashback to that shiny rock that caused this mess, the Divine Dragon Heart. Turns out the Demon Lord wasn't just a mustache-twirling villain. He was trying to use that relic to reverse time. He planned to absorb all human life force to charge it. So basically, Kyle didn't just slay evil. He also accidentally triggered the biggest magical reboot button in history. It's kind of hilarious. The hero won, pressed the wrong button, and restarted the apocalypse. So Kyle's second chance is both a blessing and a cosmic accident. He's not some chosen savior. He's just the guy who tripped over the universe's save file system. Kyle starts collecting allies like he's running a recruitment glitch. This time he's assembling the Avengers early. Urza, Saran, Lise, Princess Milena's court, the blacksmith Gasus, and every capable fighter who can swing a stick without dying. Each of them has that "why are you so intense, Kyle" moment, and each time he just smiles with haunted eyes like, oh, no reason. Every addition to the team changes the timeline further. Side characters who died in the old world get to live, flourish, and develop personalities. It's the happiest kind of tragedy. You're thrilled they're alive, but Kyle's too broken to enjoy it. And speaking of people Kyle saves, Saran finally gets his moment to shine. You know, the goofy best friend who won't shut up? Turns out he's also a walking war crime when he gets serious. During their escape with Milena, Saran stays behind and single-handedly wipes out an entire battalion. No magic buffs, no plot armor, just raw, terrifying skill. It's the perfect hold my beer moment that makes you wonder if this guy's been pretending to be useless for tax reasons. Let's be real, the emotional backbone of this anime isn't the sword fights or the politics, it's the trauma. Kyle isn't fighting monsters, he's fighting memory. Every time he laughs with his friends, he remembers how they died. Every time he saves someone, he remembers the version where he failed. The show loves to drop these gut punch moments where Kyle sees someone smiling in the present, flashes back to their corpse in the past. He's basically haunted by ghosts of people who aren't dead anymore. Try explaining that to your therapist. But that's what makes New Saga special. It actually takes the redo trope seriously. It asks, if you could go back and fix your mistakes, could you live with the memories of how bad it was before? Spoiler, Kyle can't. Kyle's power level is absurd. He's like the guy who comes back to the group project after doing it once alone. He knows the answers, the weaknesses, the hidden loot spots, everything. And everyone around him is just impressed. Wow, Kyle, you're so amazing. And he's there like, yeah, because I've already watched this world burn. But that's the genius of the show. His OP status isn't just for flexing, it's a constant reminder of failure. Being strong means he has no excuse to mess up again. He's carrying god-tier abilities with a mortal heart that's barely hanging together. It's the kind of power fantasy that punches you back. On paper, this world looks like your usual fantasy buffet. Swords, magic, elves, demons, royal politics. But New Saga adds a unique flavor. Existential dread. Demons aren't just evil for fun. They're organized, intelligent, and terrifyingly efficient. They have spies in the royal court, political manipulation, and armies ready to outmaneuver humans. The war feels real, not just a backdrop for flashy fights. And unlike most power fantasy anime where humanity is a plucky underdog, here humanity's already lost one. Everything Kyle does is basically crisis management on repeat. As Kyle keeps changing events, the timeline stops behaving. People act differently, battles happen earlier, and the Demon Lord's army starts reacting to moves he hasn't made yet. The universe itself seems to be adapting to his interference. It's that creeping paranoia. Wait, did I really fix it? Or did I just make a different version of hell? Kyle learns that being all-knowing isn't the same as being all-controlling. Sometimes saving one person means dooming another. Sometimes the very act of doing better destroys the path to victory. You can feel his exhaustion in every scene. He's not just saving the world, he's fighting time itself. One of the underrated arcs is Kyle's growing alliance with Princess Milena. She's clever, kind, and politically savvy, the kind of ruler who actually deserves to be in charge. After Kyle saves her, she brings him into her circle, giving him influence he never had before. But that power comes with attention from nobles, generals, and of course demons in disguise. Kyle suddenly has to play politician, strategist, and bodyguard all at once. It's honestly one of the most satisfying parts of the show, watching Kyle use his future knowledge not just for battle, but for diplomacy. It's like seeing a gamer go from hacking boss fights to speedrunning political intrigue. Despite the demons, destiny, and sword spirits, New Saga shines when it slows down. Little moments, Lisa cooking, Saran joking, Urza studying magic with Kyle, Milena thanking him, remind us that this isn't about power, it's about people. Kyle treasures these moments more than any victory. You can see it in his expressions, the quiet relief when someone laughs, the hesitation before he lets himself smile. He's living a borrowed timeline and he knows it. Every second feels fragile. And that's the tragedy. He's saving the world, but he can't let himself be happy in it. Eventually, Kyle's meddling catches the demon army's attention. Their generals start moving earlier than expected, sending assassins and monsters to test humanity's defenses. And remember that demon lord he killed? Yeah, he's still out there. Technically alive, technically scheming. Kyle's nightmare isn't over. It's just restarted. This builds the tension beautifully. We know how strong Kyle is, but we also know how terrifying his enemy was. Watching him prepare for the inevitable rematch is like watching someone trying to stop an avalanche with a shovel. The anime doesn't rush to that fight. It lets the dread simmer. You feel the weight of, I've already seen the ending once and it sucked. If the demon lord is the external threat, Kyle's real enemy is himself. The guilt, the memories, the crushing pressure to make this second chance worth it. That's the monster eating him alive. He's the kind of protagonist who can't celebrate a win because he's too busy remembering the loss. When people call him a hero, you can almost hear him whisper, "Not this time." And that's what sets New Saga apart from every other redo anime. It's not just about changing the past, it's about whether you can live with the past you couldn't change. At its core, this anime isn't just fantasy. It's therapy disguised as sword fight. It's about guilt, redemption, and the unbearable weight of second chances. Kyle embodies that universal human wish. If I knew then what I know now. But instead of playing it for wish fulfillment, the show plays it for pain. Because knowledge doesn't heal trauma, it just makes you more aware of how much you lost. Every time he saves someone, you feel both relief and grief, because he shouldn't have needed this redo to begin with. It's honestly more existential than it has any right to be for a show where people shout spell names dramatically. Let's be honest, the animation isn't Ufotable's level of god tier. It's solid, functional, occasionally rough around the edges, but it gets the job done. The fight choreography has impact, the emotional scenes land, and the atmosphere stays consistently grim. It's like someone fused jobless reincarnation's despair with Shield Hero's mechanics and sprinkled in Rao Zero's suffering for flavor. The tone? Perfectly balanced between hopeful and hopeless. Every win feels temporary, every quiet moment feels like a calm before another apocalypse. Most RPG parties are background furniture, but here, they're vital. Urza's growth from cautious ally to trusted confidant. Saran's constant comic relief slowly becomes emotional support. Lisa's innocent optimism grounds Kyle's spiraling guilt. Milena's political prowess is reshaping human unity. Each one adds something Kyle doesn't have anymore: faith, laughter, purpose. Together, they're not just his party, they're his proof that maybe, just maybe, this time can be different. That's the million gold coin question. Can Kyle actually rewrite destiny, or is he just pressing delay on the inevitable? The show plays with this beautifully. You never know whether Kyle's truly winning or just changing the shape of his losses. Every success comes with a question mark. Every smile feels temporary. And yet, he keeps going. Because what else can he do? He's already lived through the worst version. Even if he's doomed to fail again, he'll make damn sure everyone gets a better ending along the way. That's what makes him heroic. Not his power, but his refusal to stop trying. By the end of the first season, Kyle's journey feels less like a fantasy adventure and more like a psychological endurance test. He's made huge changes, saved lives, reshaped politics, forged alliances that never existed before. But even as the future shifts, that haunting question lingers. Did he actually fix anything, or just move the apocalypse to a different date. The season builds toward another clash between humans and demons, the kind that makes you realize this world isn't kind to hope. Kyle is stronger, wiser, and more broken than ever, but for the first time, he's not alone. You can see it in his expression. He's still carrying the weight of his past, but now he's learning to share it. The final episodes don't end with a grand battle. They end with resolve. That quiet, terrifying determination that says, I'll save them this time, even if it kills me again. It's not the kind of cliffhanger that screams, to be continued. It's the kind that whispers, he's not done suffering yet. And that's what makes New Saga hit harder than expected. It's not about leveling up, it's about trying again, even when trying hurts. Let's be real, on paper, New Saga sounds like every other power fantasy redo anime. But what it does differently is treat the second chance like a curse instead of a gift. It's not just another fix the timeline story, it's about the emotional cost of remembering everything that went wrong. The show never lets Kyle off the hook. Every time he saves someone, and it cuts to the timeline where he failed them. Every laugh is a flashback trigger. It's like the show's allergic to letting him have peace. And yet that's what makes him such a compelling protagonist. He's not the chosen one, he's the traumatized one. He's not fueled by destiny, he's fueled by regret. That's New Saga in one line. You don't need a prophecy to be a hero. You just need a reason not to quit. The irony of this anime is beautiful. Most shows about OP protagonists are about wish fulfillment. Look how strong I am now. But New Saga takes that wish and shows you the fine print. Being overpowered means you have no excuse to fail. Kyle doesn't get to relax. He doesn't get to enjoy his strength. He's trapped by it. Every victory reminds him of the timeline where he lost. He's a god walking among mortals, but he'd trade it all to just be human again, to laugh without guilt, to fight without remembering how it felt to lose. And that's why, against all odds, this grim little fantasy hits harder than most upbeat shonen. Because it understands that the true cost of experience is innocence. And somehow, despite all that existential despair, the show still manages to sneak in humor. Not loud, memey humor, more like the kind of exhausted sarcasm you get from people who've seen too much. Seran's chaotic energy is pure relief. Urza's dry wit cuts through the tension. And Kyle's awkward attempts to play normal while knowing everyone's doomed, chef's kiss. Even the sword Sildonia gets in on the fun. Imagine being haunted by trauma, but your sword won't stop roasting you. It's tragicomic brilliant. If there's a takeaway from New Saga, it's this. Second chances don't erase the first ones. They just make you more aware of how bad you messed up. Kyle's story isn't about erasing pain. It's about confronting it. It's about fighting not just for others, but for the parts of yourself you lost along the way. In an industry flooded with isekai and power fantasy clones, New Saga feels refreshing precisely because it dares to be miserable. It dares to say that being the strongest doesn't mean being okay, and somehow that hits harder than any flashy finisher ever could. So in the end, New Saga isn't just about redoing your past, it's about realizing that you can't truly escape it. Kyle wins, loses, resets, and fights again, not because he wants glory, but because he wants peace. The tragedy is, peace is the one thing power can't give him. It's funny, isn't it? The guy saves the world twice and still can't save himself. And yet, that's why we love him, because deep down, we've all been Kyle. Maybe not fighting demons, but fighting our own regrets. If you strip away the swords, the magic, and the time travel gimmicks, New Saga is really just about what it means to keep trying when life keeps pressing reset. So yeah, call it New Game Plus Depression Edition, all you want. But beneath the memes, it's one of the most surprisingly heartfelt fantasy stories out there. Because sometimes, the hardest boss to beat is your past self. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down if you would like me to recap any other anime. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go touch a suspicious glowing crystal and see if I can redo all the embarrassing things I've ever said on the internet. Knowing my luck, I'll just respawn in 2020. See you in the next one.